Hey trackies, welcome back to another video here on TXT Track Time. Please remember to like the video and also subscribe to the channel. Day 2 of the World Indoor Championships, and I'm going to give you a rundown of what happened from a Jamaican perspective, and of course any little nuggets I want to throw in as well. Now, starting with the bad news, unfortunately for Team Jamaica trackies, we didn't have anybody that made it into the 60-meter finals for the women. No, we sent 2 athletes. We had Jodean Williams and of course Natasha Morrison, but both failed to progress from the semifinals into the finals, unfortunately, as I said. Now, going into the championships, I did believe that these athletes could have made it into the finals based on the performances that I've seen from them so far. I did think medaling would be hard. The Europeans have been crushing it, so I was like, okay, not thinking medal, but I definitely think finals is possible, but they weren't able to make it into the finals. So in the heats, though, I think it was pretty clear that things would be tough, though, for the Jamaicans because Jodean Williams came up in heat 2. She won that heat and she ran 7.20 seconds. Now, I was expecting a certain level of ease in, navigating the first round, and I didn't get that ease. So I was a little concerned from the heats that it's not looking how I was hoping it would look for our athletes in terms of just navigating round by round. Now, Natasha Marsa came up in heat 5. She was third in her heat and she ran the same 7.20 seconds. And again, I wasn't getting the vibe that this execution was done with a level of ease, that you had much more to give in the semifinal and, of course, make it into the finals. Now, Natasha got a good start for me personally in the heat, and unfortunately faded towards the end of the race. In stark contrast, trackies, when we made it to the semifinal, she got a bad start. In the semifinal, she was up in the first semifinal and she ended up fifth in that race, and she ran a 7.25 seconds. So I was a little concerned with her execution throughout the championships. And yes, as I said, she didn't progress into the finals. And also, Jodean Williams came up in the third semi. She was fourth there. She ran a 7.22 seconds, right? So, as I said, from in the heats, you could tell based on the effort given that, potentially your athletes are probably going to find it hard making it into the finals. And yeah, they didn't progress past that round. Now, interestingly, though, from in the heats, trackies, I have to say that Zaneb Dasso was looking absolutely phenomenal. Now, she won her heat run in 7.09 seconds. The ease that she won that race in, for me personally, was the ease I was expecting to see the other athletes navigate their races with. No, don't get me wrong, times apart, because clearly this is 7.09 and I'm talking about 7.2 performances. Still, I'm expecting a certain level of ease with that 7.2 performance, and I didn't get that, which was, alarming for me personally. But Zaneb Dasso looked easy round by round. She definitely took the heat. Overwhelming favorite in everybody's mind personally going in to the semifinal. The semifinal happened and she still walked everybody as well, running a 7.07 seconds. But it's so funny, track, is because I did do a recording prior to this. I said I was going to release it, but I realized that I didn't have enough time to release a video about the semifinals for the women's 60 and then, talk about the women's 60-meter finals, because it was a short window between the finals. So I was like, okay, let's just do one overall wrap up. But in that video, I was saying, you know what? She is not fooling me. And I'm talking about Mujinga Kambunji. I said, I remember her winning from out of lane 8. She has this way of looking like she doesn't have any more to give round by round, and suddenly she turns up in the finals. Actually, she makes it to finals all the time. And then, she pulls out this crazy performance there. And I was like, even though Zanib Dasso looks awesome, I'm keeping my eye on Mujinga. Mujinga not fooling me at all. And check is, can you believe it? Mujinga Kambunji took the win. I found it extremely amazing, Tracky. So another win for her in the women's 60 meters. She ran a 7.04 seconds. Again, when you talk about heat by heat or round by round, when it came to Mujinga and competing, she didn't look extra special at all competing in these rounds at all. She ran a 7.20 to win her heat race, right? And then a 7.12 in the semifinal. And again, not looking anyway as impressive as Zanib Dasso. However, when we got to the finals, look here, she turned it on. She found that extra, and that was a big extra that she found. 7.04 seconds to take that win. Absolutely fantastic for her. Zaneb Dasso was second, 7.06. I could see the disappointment on her face. She tied up towards the end of the race. Jackie, that's the pressure when you get into a finals. Mujinga is seasoned. She's a seasoned campaigner, so this didn't phase her at all. She knows how to execute her best when she's at championships, and she did just that. Zanab Dasso, there was a lot of pressure on her because she was carrying the favorite tag. She looked the best, and it was just a matter of her executing and winning. And yeah, she wasn't able to carry through. Unfortunately, the moment got the better of her, but still a great performance from her. And Patricia van der Weeken was third from Luxembourg, 7.07 seconds. I remember when I learned about Luxembourg, though. I always smile when I see her in competition. But anyway, moving on from the women's 60 meters and the disappointment they're not having any Jamaicans in the finals. And let's talk about the men's 60-meter hurdles, because Jamaica had two athletes that made it into the finals there. And I was very impressed that both athletes made it because they're both collegiate athletes, trackies. And interestingly, just coming off the NCAA championships and made it to the World Indoor Championships and then made it all the way to the finals. So impressive for me, Jerome Campbell and also Demario Prince, right? In the finals, though, trackies, I have to tell you, I had to shed a tear for Jerome Campbell because I was looking at the performances and I thought, going in, trackies, I said, I'm not expecting a medal. I'm expecting 7-4 lows to be a part of the medal conversation. But as the rounds progressed, I thought to myself, I do still believe that Jerome Campbell, though he wasn't doing anything spectacular because we had, Demario Prince, performing much better, I was still thinking that if Jerome Campbell could pull out his best effort, like what we saw the NCAA Indoor Championships where he ran a 7.49, we could see him on the podium, trackies. That was my thought. But unfortunately, trackies, in the finals, Jerome Campbell clipped the first hurdle. And I was like, oh my gosh, pretty much threw him out of the entire race. Now, he has a small, well, I don't want to say a small frame because he's probably much bigger than he appears on screen because, all the athletes are so much taller than him. You know what I mean? But he's small in comparison to the other male athletes around him. So he clipped that first hurdle and it took him out of the race entirely, trackies. And I really felt bad for him in that moment because I do believe that given the times that I saw after the race was completed, I was like, Jerome could have definitely gotten on this podium. So the winner was Grant Holloway. Again, he's never lost a 60-meter hurdles race ever in his entire life. Don't know what happened in high school, but since they can remember from college coming back, he's never lost one, right? So Grant Holloway is on a crazy run here. Not his fastest season, clearly, and I'm wondering if this has something to do with the fact that the season is also longer as well. So he's not really putting too much effort into early preparation as well. So that could be a thing there for Grant Holloway, right? But he still takes the win, 7.42 seconds. Wilhelm Boloshan was second with a 7.54, and Zhu Jing Lu from China, he was third and he ran a 7.55 seconds. So as I said, if Jerome Campbell was able to get into that 7.4 performance that we saw, or even 7.5 low, right, trackies, he could have definitely been on the podium, but it's just unfortunate. Demario Prince ran a really great race in my opinion. He's been very consistent this whole championship. Track is running in and around the same performance, so I have to give my hats off to him as well. He ran a 7.63 seconds for sixth. Jerome Campbell was seventh with a 7.71 seconds in this competition. Honestly, trackies, even though we didn't medal and I wasn't expecting us to medal, I still say hats off to these athletes. They're collegiate athletes. They came from a tough NCAA indoor season and hopped straight over into China and competed strongly for Jamaica. It didn't happen this time around, but I have great hope that these athletes will be able to carry on for Jamaica. We have a strong legacy in the hurdles, and it's great seeing such young athletes come up and continue, the strong legacy for Team Jamaica. All right, so trackies, just want to give you a quick note. America took 1, 2, 3 in the men's 400 meters. Very, very strong running for them in that particular race. I definitely did think that going into the finals, Christopher Bailey, was the favorite. Well, from in the heats, I was saying, he definitely looks head and tails above everybody else. I was actually expecting the Brazilian athlete to feature. Unfortunately, he navigated terribly as far as I'm concerned in the finals. So that was it for him. The Americans really, really went for it. I mean, Brian Foss, Jacare Partison really went for it in the first 200. And, Christopher Bailey, though not having the strongest first 200, got pole position at the end of the day, right? So Americans were literally lined up 1, 2, 3, and it would be hard to pass anybody on an indoor track in such a fast race. So it was pretty much going to be, that way unless somebody, started to fly, you know what I mean? So congratulations to them in that men's 400 meters. The women's 400 meters, definitely thought Amber Annin was the favorite. It was very close though, track is very close between herself and Alexis Holmes. I always say Alexis finds herself in the conversation for sure, and she pulled off another one, though it was only for second, but I'm telling you, never count her out. So Amber Annin takes the win, 50.60. Alexis Holmes, 50.63, and Henrietta Yeager, 50.92. I believe these are the athletes that I believed would have been the medalists anyway in this particular race. All right, so track is when there's another update for this competition, then for sure stay tuned to TXT Track Time, and I'll have those updates for you. Do not forget to like the video and, of course, subscribe to the channel. I'll catch you all in the next one. Bye.